just mixing a little bit of paints here, just so you can see. I'm going to start with the pug's body color. A little bit of orange, a little bit of yellow. You see, I have a piece of paper underneath so that the watercolor doesn't go through onto the other page. He looks so sad, stuck at his rug. But they're so cute. I love pugs. So I'm just putting a little bit of orange, just mixing the colors up here a little bit. Just any kind of thing to make... I'm staying away from his muzzle, because his muzzle is kind of... That's where you go, you're going to get into the darker colors. But I'm just filling in this. Just relax a little bit. Nice. Filled in. Now his ears are a little bit on the darker side. That's what pugs are. So we're going to start with a little bit of brown. Just like that. It's fun. And let's use that same color. Notice I keep putting my brush back in to the water every time, just so my brush is nice and wet. And if it gets too wet, just use a little bit. I've always have a paper towel handy. Or if it's too dark. Something in watercolor you have to do sometimes is blot it. You know, if it comes out too dark, you kind of can remove the color a little bit with. So your paper towel kind of works as an eraser, so to speak. I usually start with my lighter colors first, and then you build on top of them a little bit. So he's got a little bit of darkness around his eyes. You get a light out. So cute. Now I'm going to do a little bit of just shadowing here. Here's a little brown mixed with my orange. Here's the shadow. We'll work into his wrinkles a little bit. And just a little bit of color into his eyeballs here. Keep that little white piece so there's a little bit of the shine. And a little bit extra onto the nose. And his paws, he's got a little bit of black under his paws, so just a little bit of darkness under there. And this is where you're going to have a lot of fun. This is like, it's carpet, so you can do whatever color you want. Get all psychedelic or whatever. Excuse me. So, I always encourage to mix colors. You don't have to use them directly out of the palette. So if you can see, I'm just mixing them into the lid of the palette. You could use that as your palette to mix colors. So for the rug, you know, I'm going to use a little bit of this or that. Since I have my red there, there's a few different kinds of reds. Play with them. A little orange, a little red. Have fun. That's what it's all about, having fun with it. No right or wrong. It's just supposed to be relaxing. And, you know, like, if you ever have an accident, like something blurs into the other. I used to love watching Bob Ross, and he would always say, happy little accident. So you just take it like, it's very symbolic of life. When something happens, you just take lemons and make them into lemonade. And if there's a happy little accident, maybe you work around it. Make it look like you did that on purpose. You don't fret over any mistakes. That's the thing. You can always add to the character of what you're doing. Watercoloring is very relaxing. And it's fun to just kind of, I read something that it says when you're drawing or coloring, your brain goes into a different mode. So all that anxiety, it's put on hold. And your brain goes, no, we're busy. It kind of forces your brain to stop having anxiety for a moment. Just, it says, sorry, we're busy right now. We're busy relaxing. Because you're taking up all that space that's in your brain that's giving you stress. It's fun. It's fun mixing the colors, seeing what comes out. I mean, it's like what's going on in your brain. It's like what color do you want to pick? What are you feeling? What's your mood? And it's so funny, little dogs. And who doesn't love coloring in little cute little dogs? This cute little man. I wonder if anybody out there has dogs that look like this little pug. I go and I volunteer up at the shelter, and I try to advocate the dogs all the time. Get them adopted. There's a man who reached out to me because he knows I go to the shelter, and he wanted to see if I could find him a pit bull, because the shelters in New York are filled with pit bulls. So I'm a big advocate of them. They're such cute, goofball, happy, go lucky dogs. They really do get a bad rap. Every time I see people with their pet pit bull adopted from the shelter, it makes me so happy, because that's one less dog and one more advocate. So now I'm going into, I'm mixing a little purple here, because let's try something different here. See how that's wet right there? You can always just take a little bit and dab if it gets too wet. This paper is not watercolor paper, so it's not going to absorb the water as much as watercolor paper. So it's better to just use your paper towel. And that's why we have our, I just should show you, probably, oh, nothing went through, just a little bit there. That way it protects your other pages, because there's a lot more fun pet portraits in here. It's fun. So I hold Paint Your Pet Night in the city at different locations, which allows places that allow you to bring your dog, which is awesome. How much fun to paint while you're with your dog. So my program is Paint Your Pet Night, and you basically send me a photo of your pet, and I will email it to me, and I will sketch it up for you. So after I sketch the pet for you, then we all meet up, and usually a good bunch of people with that all pet lovers and love their dog. I walk you through tracing the drawing that I've done of your pet from the photograph that you sent me. And after that, so basically it's like a carbon copy underneath the sketch that I did. So you're gonna on real watercolor paper. And when you get to the watercolor process, so in the meantime, while you're doing the carbon copy, you're pressing. I use a hard pencil and tell everybody to push the pencil hard so that it actually makes a carbon print. And I tell them peek underneath the tracing paper to see if it's coming through or if they've gotten all the details. You don't have to go to in super detail, but just the outline of the dog and the details, the nose and the paws and everything that's important for this sketch. It's great because then you have a very located drawing for you to start your watercolor process. And when you start the watercolor process, I usually tell you sometimes you have a feeling where but some people are a little bit nervous about where to start. So I always tend to say do the big sections first, because at least get you used to the feel of the brush and the watercolor and everything. And then when you get into the dog, or you start with the dog, what's this color? Let's just do this. This is fun. But yeah, I mean, it's a fun thing. So what I'm going to try to start to do is, because I by high demand, paint your pet from home. And in this series, I will walk you through painting, because not everybody can come up to New York. So I'll walk you through painting your pet from your home. So I will sketch similar to my class that I hold in New York City. And I'll give you a video that you can plug in privately for you. And you could go online and see little details of how to do, like I'll show you what I've been doing, what I sketched your dog, what I recommend. I always try to leave it up to you because it is your drawing. If you want to do a fun background, if some people want to do psychedelic, that their dog's in really multicolors because they see all the colors in the palette and they get excited and they want to really use them all, which is great. Or somebody wants to make them very look true to the photograph that they sent, the coloring. You could do that too. That's the thing. It's all up to you. And I love it. It's the excitement of you. The possibilities are anything. It's your painting. That's the joy of art. You don't have to do it because somebody told you to do A plus B. So people have said, "Oh, it's like paint by number," and it's really not. What I do, I get it. That's kind of that was a 70s concept. I've done paint by numbers when I was a kid, but I never liked being told what to do. So I think that's why I designed this class, this program. So for those that want to do their own, like these paint and sip classes, they tell you this is a moon, and we're all going to paint the moon. And there's 8,000 other people painting that same moon. What are you going to do with that moon when you go home? You throw it out? What are you going to throw it in the closet? But if you're painting a picture of your pet, that's exciting. It's your pet. It's something that means something to you. To me, it just came to me obvious. That's what this thing is crazy. I'm doing my greens. I'm getting my Christmassy colors in here. I don't even know. I'm talking away. But anyway, yeah, so I would send you a package that would come with the sketch of your dog that you had emailed me the photo of, that I did the sketch of. You're going to then trace the sketch that I did onto the watercolor paper. After you do that, you will start watercoloring. Just very similar to what I'm doing right now. It's the same palette and the same brush. And, you know, I can give you some tips on how to mix colors. And if you were trying to get colors, mixing colors is kind of like math sometimes, which is funny because I hated math. But I never realized that it's kind of, you know, you just have to mix the opposite color. If it's going one way too much, you just have to mix. If it's too blue, you have to put more red into it. If it's too green, or if you want it more green, you put more yellow in it. So, and again, a good black, just like the rainbow, if you mix every single color together, that's how you get black. The black in this palette isn't the best, but actually, at first, it bothered a lot of people, but I told them, it's great because you can make your own black. You mush up the black. It's kind of a charcoaly. Put a bit of green in there. Put a little of navy, a little bit of purple, blue, brown. Keep doing. So here, I just made a color that I thought was black. So here's this. Yeah, that's nice. This is going to be black carpet. Even though my picture is mint. That's alright. Now I'm going to do mint. Want to know how to do mint? And there's white in the palette too. Don't mistake white for trying to make things white. If you want to make things white, just remove the color from the paper. Here. The white is opaque, so this is a good way to make mint. Any like pastel color, that's the best to use when you're using your white. Easter